Hello, everybody. My name is Gina Dita Donahue, and I am the owner and founder of Blue Willow Precision Medicine. And right now, I would love to just walk you through a little bit about how precision medicine and my approach is a little bit different than what you are accustomed to from your regular conventional providers. So, my approach is to recognize that it takes time. It took time for you to start feeling the way that you're feeling, and it's going to take us time to figure out how to get you better. So, the first thing we're going to do is to create a timeline, and then eventually we will develop a plan. So, some of the more common symptoms that come across my desk every day include this whole list of things that you can see in front of you. But what's important to recognize is that even though I see many of these symptoms on a regular basis, the way that I develop a plan to treat them varies depending on the individual coming in to see me. So, personalized medicine is really about your body, it is your story, and it's your health. So, this is really all about you. So, the biggest question that we have to answer is how did you get here? So, if you are suffering from chronic symptoms, we need to start doing a little bit of digging. So, one of the things that I like to talk to people about is creating your health story. And sometimes I have you actually go out and get a notebook and write my health story in the third person. So, you talk about yourself using your name. For example, I would say Gina Dita Donahue was born on this day, and I just want to start writing about my past, about pertinent events that might have happened in my life, and things that I think might have contributed to where I am today. So, another question that we have to figure out is how has your body been stressed to the point that you are no longer recovering? So, our bodies are stressed every single day, and we have a built in stress response in order to deal with that stress. So, we have a big shift in our hormonal symptoms or system, which then impacts our GI system, which then impacts our cardiovascular system. All of these things dump a bunch of stuff into our bloodstream so that we need to detoxify. And then we move through this a few different times, however long it takes, and then eventually we recover. So again, this happens multiple times, and generally speaking, we recover. So, fluctuations in these body systems do vary on a regular basis, and your body really wants to return back to normal, and it does until it doesn't. So, when we think about stressors, this is a little bit more of a detailed picture. We can have environmental, physiological, or life event stressors that happen in the body. And whether or not you are stressed, like you don't like somebody at work, or you are in an uncomfortable relationship, or if you got the flu. It doesn't matter. The body still has the same adaptation response, which is really built into your biology. So these exact same things happen, again, whether it's a psychological stressor or a physical stressor. So over time, our bodies can get overwhelmed with going through this same stress response over and over again. And eventually, we can develop disease, chronic inflammation, altered immune response, and generally chronic symptoms. So, again, this is your body, it's your story, and it's your health. So, we need to figure out how to put the pieces together to understand what's going on with you right now. So there are things that do impact how your body is responding to these stressors. Your age, your gender, your personality, genetics, your current health, and your past experiences all can influence how are you responding to a stressor today, which might be a little bit different from how you responded to it 10 years ago, or even 10 days ago, honestly, depending on how really busy your life has been. So, one of the things we want to do together is to try and identify your stressors or triggering events. And again, this might take a little bit of time, but we'll work on it together. Next, we want to understand where are you in this physical stress response. We want to try and create a timeline. So you are going to participate in helping us to do that. So sometimes even just hormonal shifts can be a stressor in and of themselves. For example, going through menopause, having hypothyroidism. So we want to understand where are your hormones now while we are trying to put together a clear picture of your overall health. So that is one of the pieces of creating a timeline. When did your symptoms start? What were they? Are they the same now, worse, or better? Next, we really want to understand your digestive health. So, these big shifts in your gastrointestinal system can really lead to a lot of digestive symptoms, which, once triggered, may take on a life of their own and be very hard to resolve. So, again, when did your GI symptoms start? What were they? Are they the same now, worse, or better? And then finally, we do actually have to think about your cardiovascular system, even if you may not necessarily be thinking about having cardiovascular related symptoms. A lot of times we don't pay attention to the fact that we might be having some heart palpitations or our blood pressure might be fluctuating pretty significantly during the day. We might be having chronic headaches. We might be having actually a pretty rapid resting heart rate. If you have something called POTS, you know what that is. And you might be holding on to water. So, again, when did your symptoms start? What were they? And are they the same now, worse, or better? Next, I want to collect some data. So we're going to think about getting some labs, maybe looking into your family history, considering maybe doing a genetic testing. You are going to complete a very detailed health history. Again, looking at your family history. And then we're going to talk about your current diet now. What was your diet in the past? What was your diet as a kid? And what is your movement looking like now? Again, in the past and maybe even as a kid. And that's when we're going to be able to develop a personalized plan for you. So, there are some pretty consistent foundations to healing your body. We need to make sure that we get you sleeping well, that we're doing the appropriate kind of movement for your body, making sure that we're addressing a diet, and of course, managing your stress. And then we're going to be collecting all of your pertinent data, and we're going to be supporting your body so that you can get to the recovery phase. So, your initial visit typically takes about 90 minutes. Your initial follow-up is about 60 minutes. And then from there, we develop a personalized plan for follow-ups based on what your needs are and just exactly how much support you need. You are going to complete a health history questionnaire, and you can upload pertinent health records. And then we're going to gather some data, implement a plan for you, and then evaluate how you're getting better over time. So I hope that that gives you a great introduction to how it works for me when I start working for you.